Okay, I'm not sure how much of that previous playthrough of mine I showed, but I just tried going through door 5, door 7, and then door 2. One door from each playthrough so far. And it gave me the same ending as playthrough 3. It seems as though, at least I'm gonna go ahead and guess, if you go through door 2, you're gonna get the worst ending. So what's my next plan for a pathway? This time I'm gonna try 476. That way, going into door 6, like I thought about it before, but Junpei would have no way of knowing of Ace's, disease if he doesn't go into door 8. I don't think so. He wouldn't be able to catch him. So maybe that's gonna be the big trick. That's gonna be where the difference is. So that's what I'm gonna try this time. You're sure? Do you want to go through door 4 this time? Do you think this boat is a replica? Jumpy, do you believe in that sort of thing? Curses and stuff? I do! Alright, new dialogue. Yeah, well, I guess so. To a certain extent. Junpei scratched his temple. What about you? Nah, I guess that's kind of a dumb question. Yes, I do believe in curses. In fact, I think it was a curse that sunk the Titanic. What? A curse sank the Titanic. The curse of the Egyptian mummy. What do you want to do? I want to get the don't take it option out of the way, but I feel like I should take it for this pathway. Yeah, I will. It looks like a koi. Whatever that is. A koi? See? Here's the head and the tail. And this here's the hands and the feet back here. Looks like he's got some wings on his back, too. Junpei pointed to what he was talking about. After 3 seconds of silence, let's look at Junpei. I really don't think that's how a koi looks. Well, I don't know what a koi looks like at all, so I win. I'm more confused than you. Junpei, are you just screwing around? Not as much as in the first playthrough. Forget it. I'm just gonna tell you. This is a dog. Wonder why it doesn't turn to a liquid first. It did strike Junpei as rather odd. Did seem rather odd to Junpei, and he couldn't help but think about it. It's kind of annoyed. June was nice. We'd had enough of her ridiculous stories. So all of a sudden, a substance began to crystallize with a seed crystal. That seemed unlikely. No, impossible. In fact, it was utterly ridiculous. Even so, Junpei couldn't help but ask, what does that have to do with Ice 9? Well, what about you, Junpei? Who do you think fixed this thing for us? I'm gonna say Snake. Well, it seems like it would have to be Snake, wouldn't it? Maybe he got back here before any of us. He found the parts somewhere, put them back, and then went through one of the numbered doors. No, that's not possible. You have to authenticate with at least 3 people, or the red won't open the door. There's no way a single person can get through there by themselves. Yeah, I guess you're right. It was a stupid mistake, and Junpei knew it. How had he made such a foolish miscalculation? And how had Santa noticed it so quickly? Perhaps he just wasn't as clever as he used to be. Junpei shook his head sadly. Really, Junpei? When was the height of your cleverness? In other words, one of us is the person who fixed the red. Junpei, which door do you want? We're going 7 again. Do you know something about it? Do you know something about it? I told you I think I do. Just hold on. 7 thought hard and mumbled to himself. After a few minutes he gave up. Arrgh! Damn it! So I was right the first time. I have to mention it's Ice 9 to jog his memory. Why do you have to ask me some dumbass question? I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, man. Oh well, look, if I remember anything, I'll let you know, alright? Right now, we need to get the hell out of the room, though, okay? Then he turned and left. Junpei, his mind still occupied with the story 7 had told him, slowly followed. Oh god, what do you want to do? I want to give her the 4-leaf clover to maybe, give her courage so that she survives in this ending. I guess I'll do this option later. I'm gonna give her the 4-leaf clover. What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei? I'd throw it away. I'd pitch it, I guess. But it's your favorite pair of socks. Come on, who loves their socks that much? Doesn't matter. Just suppose you do love them that much. Well, I guess then I'd patch it. But what if another hole opens? I'd add another patch, I suppose. What if another hole opens after that? Another patch? Can I pitch it yet? Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches. Till eventually the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. I want to go through door 6. Okay, this is new dialogue. Have you ever heard the story of the two Santa Clauses? Shoot. It goes that a long time ago there were two Santas. One of them wore white, the other one wore black. The white Santa gave presents to good kids, and the black Santa played tricks on bad kids. They went on like that for a while, but eventually the black Santa's tricks started to get worse and worse. Interesting. Pretty soon, the white Santa couldn't stand it anymore, and he stabbed the black Santa to death. What? That got morbid. When he stabbed the other Santa, the white Santa got blood all over his clothes. Oh, and that's why they're red? Well, that's not a very kid-friendly version of the story. And that's why these days his clothes are red. You could say that red is all that's left of the black Santa. Junpei was silent. He could think of nothing to say. June was staring at Santa, sadness plain on her face. He continued. I wonder, which Santa am I? I don't know how to answer that. The white Santa or the black Santa? They might as well both be the black Santa. At least morally speaking. Alright, let's go. Santa stood up suddenly, his downcast demeanor gone. I wonder why the change in dialogue showed up. I wonder what I did differently. He shoved the picture back in his pocket and headed back up the stairs, taking them two at a time. Now that I think about it, there's another change that's going to happen. Yeah, it's not just, like I was thinking, well, if we go into door 8, then, we find out about the disease. But, if we go into door 5, and Santa goes into door 4, then he'd be going in the same door as Ace. And that's, how we find out about his connection to the company. So did June not get sick? No, sorry, not sick, but June fell over, right? In the other pathway? And had to go away for a while? But that doesn't happen in this one? I wonder why. Okay, so we're just before the ending once again. And this time I am 99% sure there's going to be a different ending. Let's hope I'm right. Hooray, I found it, yay, woo! But did I find an ending? That's more important. A new ending, specifically. The hallway that left the cargo room headed straight toward the stern. Junpei and the other three proceeded down it silently. Some distance along it, a large room opened up on the left-hand side. It looked familiar. This will probably start similar because, like, it's not gonna really get separate till later on, I don't think, but it's probably gonna branch off eventually. An iron grate covered each of the elevators. Junpei and his companions drew to a stop and began to discuss what their next move should be. We've seen this elevator before. We got off the one on the left just a little while ago. And we went through door number 6, and that took us to the engine room. Yes. After that, we passed through the cargo room. And now we're back here. In other words, we made a loop. We're back where we started. Junpei approached the elevator. Gently, he pushed the triangular button on the wall next to it. A moment passed. Ellipses. The other door opened. And shut. Pushing the button that apparently restored power to the elevator. The elevator was now functional. What do we do now? Should we return to C-Deck? No, this hallway keeps going. Even if we do end up going back, I think we should see what's down there first. I agree. Let's go. The decision made, Junpei and his companions left the elevator behind and continued down the hallway. Sometime later, Santa, who had been walking several paces in front of the rest, suddenly stopped. Set in the wall in front of him was a door. So far as Junpei could see, there was no other way to proceed. It was the door or nothing. Alright, let's open it. Junpei took a deep breath, readied himself, then grabbed the doorknob and pulled the door open. They took the elevator up to the sea deck. Once there, they headed back toward the main hall and the central staircase. Didn't take them long. They found Seven and Lotus waiting for them. They didn't look happy. We got a problem. Clover's gone. Again. Junpei and the three companions looked at one another. He turned back to Seven and Lotus. What do you mean, gone? Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask. When? Why? You two went to door 1 with Clover, didn't you? Seven and Lotus responded as best they could. Yeah, we went through the door together. But Clover barely spoke to us. She just did her own thing the whole time. I guess even though I gave her the 4-leaf clover, she still wasn't willing to be cooperative with anyone but me. There were 4 rooms on the other side of door 1. She wouldn't let us into the 4th room. She just said, I'll take care of it. Shut the door. She must have blocked it with something on the other side. We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out. We called for her, but she didn't answer. So I kicked the door down. We went into the room. But it was empty. Clover wasn't there. There was a door on the other wall. And it was open. We figured she opened the door and left by herself. We ran after her, of course, but, well, obviously we didn't find her. We figured that much out. Clover's gone. Junpei thought for a moment. When did this happen? We got here just before you. You certainly have excellent timing. So you haven't searched anywhere other than near the staircase? No, we haven't. Finally, Ace spoke. His voice had an edge of resolve and concern. Of course it did, you bastard. Very well then, we best separate and look for Clover. We haven't much time left. Let's begin. There were quick nods all around, and the 6 remaining players spread out. Junpei and June ran into the central hospital room and looked around. She's not here. No, she isn't. They searched a little longer, but with no luck. They couldn't find Clover. Finally, they gave up and left the central hospital room. Slowly, they made their way back to the hallway. At last, they reached the stairs, and Junpei spoke. Alright, I'm thinking we should probably split up. Split up? Wait, what? Okay, so is this where the pathways are diverging? I know in the other one, I tried to look at Ace's, corpse again. Sorry, Ace's corpse? Snake's corpse. And then I find out it's not Snake's, and I remember, oh my god, no! But, wait, yeah. This is different, because I didn't go into door 8, so I wouldn't know to do that. So, okay, I think this is where it's really starting to separate. I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck. Alright, why do I have a feeling this is going to end with June dying? That sounds good. But, what? Did you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone? Huh? Oh, sure, right. I'll, do that. There was a reason Junpei persisted in calling her June, even when they were alone. Although perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by the nickname he'd used when they were children. Connie. 9 years ago it came naturally, after all. They were children. Now that they were adults, it felt strange. Really? It didn't feel strange when you did in the other pathways. It seemed natural to you. At the time. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Oh, come on, you're practically dating. You just haven't made it official. Of course, to call her Miss Kurashiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kurashiki would seem a little brusque. And although he couldn't put his finger on why, it felt somewhat forward to call her Akane, when they hadn't seen one another for so long. In short, it was simply easier for me to call her June and leave it at that. Alright, I'm going then. Yeah. Be careful. Connie. June, or perhaps more appropriately Connie, blushed and smiled. You be careful too, Jumpy. Yeah. Got it. Take care. Boy, what's gonna happen? Junpei looked after her for a moment as she ran up the stairs, then turned around and took off down the hallway. What's gonna happen? I'm excited. What's the difference gonna be? Oh, I hope we actually get to save Clover in this pathway. It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure this isn't the true ending. Because I actually found out how to get the true ending, which is why I'm kind of avoiding the true ending for now. I'm trying to get all the other endings first. But, yeah, the true ending, from what I've heard, you just have to do playthrough, what I did in my first playthrough, just do that again. So, I'll do that after I get the other endings. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it. What happened? But to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing the fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place, June's smile had given him hope, both for escape and possibly for something else. It was that hope that raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door, and there she was. A woman sat, slouched against the wall. Lotus? Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp, and her skin smooth and pale as always? Wait a second, what? What the fuck? This didn't happen in the other pathway. I wonder what the big difference is. Wow. So, it would make sense if it was Ace who did this, because he wants her bracelet, right? And he can get out alone. But, does that mean Clover's still okay? I'm not sure. Junpei felt his chest constrict. He couldn't breathe, and his legs began to shake. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. Now that I think about it, I should probably mention something. In the third pathway, I wasn't really thinking about it at the time, mostly because the skeleton key was like the idea that someone had a key that could open every door. Like, they would have to. Because I had the sun key, and the sun door was already open. They made note in the pathway when Lotus found her corpse that her bracelet was missing. Which means you could think, well, maybe Ace was playing dead. But the problem is, where would he get a skeleton key? Like, we still haven't found one yet, so how would he have one? And that's why I'm not so sure that's the whole truth for that pathway. But, that did come up to my mind. Anyways, he felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank. All his thoughts were replaced with endless, hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk toward Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Ugh. Finally he stood next to her. That's a shame. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse. No rise and fall of breathing. She was slightly warm. Something somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind told him that meant she had been killed recently. Yes, Junpei thought, his mind slowly returning. She had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Oh no, not her chest. Blood still oozed from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife then? Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. She would have died immediately. He took little comfort from knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone. Oh, is Ace already gone? Man, that would suck. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. Although again, what does this mean for Clover? I'm curious. There are only two ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Was that why the killer ended Lotus's life? So that they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. Perhaps more accurately, the person who would gain the most by obtaining bracelet number 8. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from the number 8 bracelet? The thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when... Oh, shoot. He heard a noise. A sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. So, Ace hadn't left yet. Oops. It struck him as strange that the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later, the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain. There was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Ironic. Whoever had killed Lotus had now done the same to Junpei as well. Ugh! His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of the attacker. You're not going to see it. But as he did, the knife dug itself in deeper, twisting viciously. Ah! Ooh, man. That's gotta hurt. He collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body was entirely numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. As he lay on the floor, his life ebbing away, Junpei finally saw his attacker. But we're not gonna get to see him. We can't. That would be a spoiler for the other pathway, right? Two tiny images of the killer reflecting in his eyes. With that recognition came nothing. He felt no emotion, not anger, not sadness, not regret. Paralysis that had calmed his body had reached his mind. His killer glanced down at his body. But this would suck if I played this before the other pathway, because then it'd be like, oh god, Junpei knows, but we're not gonna find out, what the fuck? Then without a word, climbed into the elevator and was gone. His eyesight began to fade. The world grew blurry and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last that remained of Junpei's mind, and his consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell. Into zero. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. What? He fell into ooh, bad end. So those other ends weren't bad end? Are you telling me this is worse than the Pathway 3 ending? Are you actually telling me that right now? Ooh. Okay.